Welcome back, Creature Kids! This is Aiden. We've drawn a lot of Japanese kaiju on the show before, but this is the very first time we are drawing one from the Super Sentai Power Rangers franchise. So, I don't know why it's so embarrassing for me to admit that I was a Power Rangers fan growing up. We were all into all sorts of weird, stupid things as kids, and you don't need to apologize for what you're into when you're a kid. But for some reason, admitting that I liked Power Rangers as a kid has caused me a lot of embarrassment for a long time, and I'm not really sure why. I wasn't like a little kid around the time it came out, but I think other kids in class were. That was around the time period where they were starting to discover more grown-up things like drugs, guns, and their very first gangbang, whereas here I am watching this silly show about rubber monsters and giant robots and spliced together from old footage. But you know what? Who cares? Sometimes things don't need to be high art for you to enjoy them. Today we are drawing one of my favorite monsters from the old series, and that is Snizzard. A lot of the monsters in the show had very strange, bizarre, whacked out designs, and this is definitely one of the better ones. It's a play on the Hydra, the multi-snake, only in this case they did a lot of strange and fun things with it. The extra heads and necks kind of become the arms, the entire body opens up into like a huge snake mouth, and you can't really tell from this drawing, but the legs are probably the craziest thing of all, where it's just piles and piles of snakes all coiled up together. I don't really know how it attaches to it, but it's just a strange, silly idea. Really out there stuff. The designs are probably even crazier than what you would see in like more typical kaiju like Godzilla or Ultraman. Snizzard was a lot of fun, and Snizzard definitely attained a lot of popularity later on when later generations discovered that in the Americanization, Snizzard was voiced by Bryan Cranston. Yes, that Bryan Cranston, who would pre-stardom days was voicing monsters on Power Rangers before he hit fame and fortune for his breakthrough role as the dentist on Seinfeld. And, of course, Bryan Cranston was also in that Power Rangers reboot movie, which we don't really need to discuss unless if you want to talk about a film with 10 million Krispy Kreme references, which I'd rather not. Snizzard actually made quite a few appearances in the series, which was a joy for me as a kid to see one of my favorite monsters come back quite a few times. He was in one of the Halloween specials where the Doomstone monster resurrects him and a bunch of other old creatures. He also got to make an appearance in the 3-part wedding episode where Lord Zed marries Rita Repulsa, and they resurrect a lot of their old monsters to be guests at their wedding. Snizzard gets to play the organ for their walk down the aisle, and it's pretty funny. It still remains one of my favorite old memories from the series. And of course, Snizzard just recently came back in the big nostalgic reunion on Netflix, Power Rangers Once and Always, where he gets to return in this new mechanized form. It's a cool redesign, although believe it or not, it's actually somehow more restrained than the previous version because piles of snakes for legs are gone, which is actually it's strange saying that it's less strange, but at the same time it's still nice to, in this big reunion of all the old actors, drawing upon memories from 30 years ago and getting to enjoy them again with one of my favorite monsters returning. It hits you right in the feels. So, if you were one of the other fellow kids who grew up loving the show back in 1993, good for you, because why the hell not? Life is too short to be embarrassed about what you liked, whether or not it was just another crazy-ass show about rubber monsters and giant robots fighting each other, and ay. Okay, gang, thank you for watching, and keep it more phenomenal. Bye-bye.